It seems like this type of movie hasn't been done in a while. It was kind of like refreshing to see something like this again being made.
It's the kind of high concept thriller that they used to make in the 80s, 90s, into the 2000s. And that has kind of fallen by the wayside. Like, movies certainly don't advertise themselves as this is the scenario. If you go into movies from the 90s, especially, like, they were all like this, right? They weren't franchises for the most part. They were, here's the one sentence summary or pitch, and that's supposed to get your interest. And then there's also probably an actor in it you like, but they lead with the high concept. I think that makes it kind of unusual.
I see what you're saying, but I'll be honest with you guys, there wasn't really much from this. Like, the way that you guys are looking at this film, I don't see it. I don't know. Because you're saying in a while. If it was this year, then maybe not this year, but I'm sure
Like 10
there's
years.
been. I just can't think of it from the top of my head, but I'm sure there's been, like, Run, for example. Has anyone seen Run?
I have not seen that.
You should go and watch Run. That's a thriller, definitely, which is definitely like a psychological drama as well. And it's definitely like a high stake thriller in a way too. So Run is definitely something which was, I don't know when it was released, it was a couple of years ago, but I don't think this is a film that I don't think it's different from any other movie that we've seen personally, especially a thriller that we've seen.
I'm thinking about one that we didn't watch this year that was on my list, but I never got the chance to go. What was the one where the serial killer takes his daughter to a concert and
Trap.
Trap, basically. I think maybe that
was
one
trash.
Did you watch it? You watched it? Okay, fair. But that was like one where it's like I had the concept of like the serial killer in a situation and he has to figure his way out of it. So I don't think it's completely gone, but I don't think it's as like popular and or as common as what it was back in the days.
They definitely still get made, but it used to be the norm that the scenario is what was supposed to get your attention, was supposed to get you interested, and now it's like the franchise and the name. And I think that is different. And so the movie is a little bit unusual in that sense, in that the scenario is what's supposed, like, there are no big names in this. Like, I recognize like one or two actors, like Bateman obviously is the biggest name in this, but if he's the biggest name, then that says something about the rest of the cast, right? I do think that like the high concept stuff has fallen by the wayside.
I do kind of miss that when pretty much the story and, like you said, the high concept and, you know, and that dilemma is the gist of the film, the selling point of the movie. Jurors 2.
Yep, that's one.
The Jurors 2 is one as well. That's another one as well. So okay, so I do agree actually, Daniel. So let me change what I said. I agree. You're right. I don't think there has been much of that lately, and it is refreshing when the conflict is the selling point of the movie, and they should do more of that. And it's just unfortunate. And okay, sorry. This felt like a very eye-opening moment. I actually agree. Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not like nobody has done these in 10 years. It's more like they used to be the norm and now they're the sideshow, in the same way that in the 90s there were franchises and sequels, but they weren't the norm. Right? Mm-hmm. Whereas now, if a movie is promoted, they promote it with, this is how you know this, right? It's either a sequel or it's an adaptation or something. That is in almost all cases how it's marketed primarily and how people think about it, right? Like, it's just, maybe this is just my pet peeve, but every time I see people talk about movies, it's just about what else it's related to as opposed to whether or not the story is interesting. And that then kind of leads into this whole idea of an unnecessary movie, or a movie that people haven't asked for, when really the question should be, does this offer an interesting story? To me, that's a symptom of people not being used to thinking in terms of the premise. Like, this is what the movie's about, but this is what it's a sequel to, or this is what it's connected to, or this is what it's adapting or whatever.